everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, December 15th, 2024. Wow, Devon touched a shark. Was that riveting or what? He thought it was a turtle, but it was a shark. I didn't even need to see Fiji. I saw it all right through the eyes of Abby. Watching Devon, thinking something was a turtle. Oh, it's a shark. What is it with Devon, really? He is always getting a little too close to wildlife. Sharks, lions. It's a recurring theme with this guy. Oh, yes. Devon and Abby are back from Fiji. And Abby said, well, hey, while I'm here in paradise, why not get a haircut? What do you guys think of Abby's new short and sassy do? That's the question of the week, I think. It seemed a little stiff to me, maybe just a touch too much product. So I'm looking forward to us washing it up, washing it out, and seeing how it looks next week. But damn, I loved those thigh-high suede boots she was wearing. Ah! And that turtleneck with the chest cut out of it. I mean, that makes me want to go to my closet right now and cut all the chests out of all of my turtlenecks. Hey, why stop with turtlenecks? I'm ready to cut the chest out of all my shirts. Do you think I should do it? New fashion trend. Chest cutouts. Ooh. Say what you want about Abby. The girl has got style. And I really enjoyed seeing all of the twinkling Christmas goodness at Society this week. There ain't no green screen that can replace that. It was gorgeous. And those little splashes of pink. I mean, that is really something special, you know, because it's totally not a traditional Christmas color scheme. But, you know, it's not a traditional restaurant, so it completely works. But speaking of traditional, can you believe that we actually got to see the Chancellor Mansion this week? Right after we were talking about it last week. I mean, that is amazing. It's such a nice surprise. Completely reminds me of how much I do love that set. And I think it's just, it's the hygge of it all. It gives me the warm and fuzzies just being there, you know? And it was the perfect location for Lily to stop by and tell Devon that she is agreeing to his job offer. She is willing and ready to come work with the family. She is going to work with him at Winters at her namesake company. So yes, it is going to be Winters all winter long. More perfection. Now we just need to get Devon to take the stick out of his butt long enough to hire Audra. And then we've got ourselves a party. Drama. Oh man, Audra breaks out into tears at the Winters family celebration dinner. And Devon says, I don't buy it. Devon says, I don't believe it's true. Okay, now, admittedly, I was thinking, wow, this is a complete out of character reaction from Audra. Just a little bit of family warmth, and she's in tears at the table in front of people who she knows doesn't like her. I mean, it's just, Audra in general has always been so chilly with her emotions, and now one family dinner with the Winterses was enough to melt her heart. I can see being a little suspicious of it, but at the same time, well, that's how change works, you know? It just sort of hits you. And I wonder if maybe this really is a true turning point for Audra's character. Maybe this is the beginning of a softer, gentler Audra Charles. An Audra Charles who is much more in touch with her deeper feelings when they're there, you know? I don't think she's faking it, Devon. I mean, I want to trust her. And also, to what end would she be faking it? What would she be hoping to gain from faking it? The only thing that Audra wants that she doesn't have is a job. And I really don't think that someone with Audra's resume needs to shed tears just to get the work. Phyllis really put Lauren into a bad position this week. Phyllis finally opened up and admitted that what she has been seeing in her flashback memories was not Sharon's car on the road that night. It was a truck. And who did Phyllis finally decide to share this information with? Lauren, the wife of Sharon's attorney. It makes no sense. I think Phyllis is just thinking that friendship is supposed to supersede anything and everything. And on that note, first of all, I cannot believe that Phyllis sat down for a ceramic Christmas cup of coffee one-on-one with Lauren early in the week and did not once mention how betrayed she felt by Michael. I would have expected that conversation to have included Phyllis going on and on about Michael and how could he do this, and maybe pressuring Lauren to get Michael to drop the case. But Phyllis didn't even mention it. And then she actually confessed to Lauren that she was having some reasonable doubts that Sharon was the one behind the accident, and she was doing it right there in Sharon's coffee house for Sharon to overhear. I don't know. I think Phyllis is just going through her process of unraveling her denial about the whole thing. Because even if Sharon didn't run her off the road, well, she still killed Heather, didn't she? The toxicology reports came back on Sharon's meds this week, and the reports revealed that Sharon's medication was spiked with PCP. PCP? What is this? The 60s? Who's still got a dealer for PCP? Like, did Jordan go to the retro drugstore and say, yo, you got any angel dust? I need to turn an angel into a devil. Oh my goodness. PCP. Wow. Well, now that we know why Sharon was hallucinating, now we know that, she clearly was not in her right mind. We know that it was she was being drugged. Sharon now knows that she was drugged, and that's the important part, because now Sharon has decided to fight for her life. No more pleading guilty. She knows now that someone had it in for her. And so the only questions left are who and why. And who is going to help us get those answers? Why, it'll be Dr. Alan Laurent. Gee, isn't it nice to have a spare psychologist on hand? I mean, he did such a good job with Ashley's treatment that Sharon decided she wants him to hypnotize her to help her recover all of her missing memories from that night. Ooh, Lord, I can't wait to see this. I cannot wait to see. I hope we get to actually see the hypnotherapy session next week. That's going to be some good TV. Speaking of Alan and Ashley admitted to Abby this week that although she is very much feeling better, she is not feeling all better. Apparently, she never really got to the root of those repressed memories that she was alluding to, something that had happened in her childhood. Yeah, that's a big disappointment. I mean, that is a big steaming pile of disappointment, because there was some implication about a childhood trauma that she had suffered, and I thought, ooh, okay, well, maybe this will launch us into a new Ashley story. Actually, I knew at the time, I thought, you know what, I think they're just going to wrap this up and just bingity boom her right out of the way and then drop it. And now I'm thinking, maybe I was right all along. You guys had convinced me that maybe we were really going to get another story for Ashley, but maybe not. I mean, maybe the direction has just changed. Maybe Y&R has been listening to all of our fan speculation about Alan and Martin and a twin twist. And maybe they just decided to go in that direction. I mean, is there any chance that that is where we're headed now? That somehow Martin is the one who's going to be hypnotizing Sharon next week, giving her that crack hypnosis. I mean, Martin was impersonating Alan, so he would have the knowledge to do that. And then maybe he will just turn right around and turn his attention to torturing Ashley again. And then, oh no, if that is the case, that is going to be leaving Tracy broken-hearted, realizing that, I mean, not only has she been fooled, but that the love of her life was really the one who died in Paris. I was actually glad that Billy got a chance to confront Jack this week, and I was glad that Billy had the line, well, what are you doing with our family business here, Jack? Because it's kind of true. It's Billy's family business too. I think he has a right to question it. I mean, admittedly, Billy's really never been able to stick with the family business, but at the same time, neither has Ashley or Tracy. It was good. It was long coming. The one thing that Jack and Billy have always had in common is their hatred for Victor. And yet, Jack warned Billy against going to war with Victor because, you know, I mean, we know it never ends well. Victor could not stand the fact that Jack got even an inch of an upper hand on him. Victor immediately launched into counterattack mode. And he enlisted Michael to do something on his behalf. We weren't privy to what exactly it was. But yeah, Victor told Michael that when Jack bought up those Glissade assets, that he unwittingly gave Victor the power to bring down Jabot from the inside. Now, I have no idea what that means, but it sort of seems like Diane is going to be the one who would be on the front line of it, since she is the one who is handling the Glissade assets that will be turned into the Jabot retro line. So I don't know, maybe it's going to make her look bad in the end. Maybe it's going to cause further discord between she and Kyle. But for right now, I mean, Diane seems to think that everything is going in a positive direction. She and Jack are both reconciling with Kyle. Kyle's, got the new CEO position. Diane's got this new project. But Victor was very strongly forecasting some dangerous weather ahead. And I wonder if Diane is going to be able to be prepared for that. I wonder if Diane is going to be a more suitable partner for Billy, for getting some revenge on Victor. I mean, Billy, he's consumed with revenge on Victor. He needs a job, and if Michael is able to accomplish whatever task it is that Victor set him to, which I'm sure he will, then there could be a real fight to fight. And that's going to put Michael and Phyllis on opposite sides again, because Michael's going to want to do battle for Victor, and Phyllis is wanting to do battle for Billy. But I think Diane would make a much better partner for Billy. I don't know when Phyllis became Billy's deed doer, his errand runner, his second in command. I mean, I kind of hate how desperate Phyllis is to be involved in anything and everything that he's involved in. And she certainly does not like Sally being on the peripheral, even the peripheral of Billy's life, let alone being in the inner circle. It just seems like Phyllis has gotten very territorial over Billy all of a sudden. And she seems to be so willing to do anything she has to do to stay in his good graces, as if he's the only friend she's ever had and is ever gonna have. And oh no, she's isolated from Michael and Lauren, so now she needs him badly. I mean, but all of that is to the side of what beef Phyllis has with Victor right now. None. There is none. Which leads me to think that Phyllis's motivation is not about Victor at all, has absolutely nothing to do with Victor, and that maybe she is just using this situation as foreplay before she hops into bed with Billy. Ooh, a living room shopping spree for Claire. I think that was a fun little lavish surprise. I mean, who knew that Fenmore's had a to-go service? I didn't know. It was more kind of like a Tupperware party or something, but with ladies' clothing. We'll just bring you a selection and you just decide what you want. I'm sure it was all perfectly with Claire's size and everything in mind. I love the flash living room private clothing delivery. Flash shopping in your living room. I thought that was really a cool idea. And I also thought that it was incredibly rude of Victor to crash it. Just needing to make sure that he told Claire that he doesn't like who she's dating. Man, the shopping spree surprise brought me so much joy, and then Victor brought me so much ugh. I did love the way that Nikki and Victoria quickly brushed it off, though, because Nikki said to Claire, look, you don't have to listen to him. Your feelings are your own. I mean, we basically, since he's the one who gave us all of this money and power and everything, we basically have to entertain whatever he wants, but then we're going to go behind his back and do whatever we want. Gotcha! That's how it works. Pay lip service to money bags and then just do whatever you want on the back end. But I will say, Victoria was looking very, very concerned when she realized the topic that Victor had in mind to talk to Claire about. I mean, she's been here before. Victoria has been here before. Jack was having a lighter conversation with Kyle at the same time, and he was quick to remind Kyle that Victor had Victoria arrested on her wedding day, all because he did not want an Abbott dating a Newman. But I thought that the absolute most annoying part of the Victor-Claire conversation was when he told her that one day she's going to have to choose between the Abbotts and the Newmans. I mean, I thought that was so totally ominous and so totally unnecessary. And you want to know what I think, Victor? I think you're going to be the one who's going to be forced to choose. You're going to have to choose which granddaughter you want to end up with Kyle. Will it be Claire or Summer? Do you think that Summer really wants Kyle back? That's what I'm wondering. Does Summer really want Kyle back, or does Summer just not want Claire to have him? Or maybe it's all of the above. I think Summer wants her place back, you know? I think she wants her spot back in the family. And it's quite fortuitous that Claire decided to move on from being Harrison's nanny at exactly this moment. Dang, did you see how Summer jumped in there and grabbed control of that situation at every single step along the way? Now that is a power move. That's a Phyllis move. We have complained for years that Summer is nothing like her mother, and well, here we go. That was a power Phyllis move. Claire wanted to tell Kyle privately that she was taking the job, but then she ran into Summer first and felt obligated to tell her immediately. And then right before Claire got a chance to tell Kyle herself, Summer broke in there and broke the news right in front of Kyle. Totally stole her thunder. Ooh, dang. That was so rude. That was so catty. And I loved it so much. Kyle was fine with it. I mean, Claire's a big girl. She's allowed to make her own career decisions. And she certainly is not having to be Harrison's nanny forever. In fact, it's probably more appropriate this way if you think about it, considering the fact that Kyle is dating her, you know. I mean, it's better this way if she's not on the payroll while he's dating her. And since he's dating her, she's still going to be seeing plenty of Harrison. But then Summer also blocked Claire's request to tell Harrison about it herself. Power move! Claire and Harrison have a very special bond, and Claire did not want Harrison thinking that he did anything wrong. You know, she wanted to have the opportunity to explain it to Harrison personally, and she will, but she just won't be the first to do it, because Summer quietly power pressured Kyle into leaving Claire out of the conversation. We're the parents Summer said. This news should come from us, Summer said. Oof. And you know what? I agree. I really do agree. Because at the end of the day, the nanny job was a paid arrangement. Claire was an employee. And I'm sorry, the employee does not get to make decisions about what happens after she gives notice. So I was actually glad that Summer got in there and grabbed control. I'm Team Summer. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's just too good. Plus, Claire's going to have plenty of chances to explain her thinking to Harrison. But, you know, I think Mom and Dad needed to be the ones to reassure Harrison about how his babysitting will work. And, in fact, it seems like there's not going to be any more nannying. It seems like Summer is ready to get a little more hands-on with Harrison. She's ready to suddenly be at the house with Harrison a little more often. No need for a replacement nanny. Summer's going to be around. That's convenient. That's real convenient. Because now Summer can be hiding behind every corner and hiding behind every flower pot, spying on Claire and Kyle, watching their love progress, and doing everything in her power to mess it up. If Summer isn't the one to mess up Kyle and Claire's relationship, Jordan will. Man, Jordan was so offended to find out that Claire was lapping up the lavish Newman lifestyle and playing kissy face with a rich boy while she's stuck in a motel room that still has owl macrame on the walls. How could Claire forget everything that Aunt Jordan taught her? Claire is going to need a good, strong brainwashing when Jordan gets a hold of her. But Jordan's agenda is not the only agenda in the room. Jordan has partnered with Ian, and they have this whole unholy union thing going on between them. And I have to say, I love them bickering. I love them bickering and then making up and then calling themselves like an old married couple. I mean, it was almost like there was some shred of affection there between them. They are sharing a bed. I mean, there's only one bed in that hotel room, so they are at least sleeping side by side. Of course, now we know that Jordan sleeps with a knife. Just in case. I don't know if she picked that up in prison or she just knows who she's dealing with. But Jordan's disguising around town uncovered the fact that Nick had Sharon's pills tested, which is bad news for Team Villains. And I was genuinely delighted and LOL'd when Ian, he had this short little throwaway line saying, Nick Newman? I didn't think he was smart enough. That was just so clever, writers. So clever, writers. Because Ian Ward was there speaking the truth of the people. I mean, Nick was looking extra hunky this week, and I was for real noticing like how good his upper body looks, and he's just still got the cute face, and I love him to death, but he is not known for his smarts. Oh. Well, now Team Good Guys knows that someone drugged Sharon, and Ian blames Jordan for it because she was the one who, I guess, did the major deeds, and he feels that this was sloppy on her count. So now Ian is going to be ambling around town in his conspicuous hat and glasses, standing 2 feet away from Mariah and Nick, eavesdropping on their conversation while stirring his coffee in a Santa hat. Oh, hello, evil villain. Would you like to drink your coffee from a Santa head today? Why, yes. Yes, I would. No, wait. On second thought, could you make that Santa head a Satan head instead? I almost got my chestnuts roasted on an open fire. That's our quote for this week. I almost got my chestnuts roasted on an open fire. If you think you know who said that line, you can go to yrchat.com to reveal the answer. Oh, and you can go to genoacitysoap.com if you want to see that Ranch Fire special Y&R Chat episode. Well, listen to it anyway. It's all audio. It's perfect if you have a little bit of spare time over the holidays and you want to get warm and toasty over a old retro story. genoacitysoap.com. Tony says, Allie, you asked for suggestions for more special Y&R Chat episodes, and you mentioned the Jack and Victor rivalry, which is a great idea, but I was sorry to hear you only have 15 years of archives. Oh yeah, I gotta pause there. It feels like Y&R Chat's been going on for longer than that. I think it's 15, 16 years at this point. And I have all of the podcast and video episodes. I have copies of everything that I can go back through and work on, putting together these special episodes. But it's like, oh, the Victor and Jack rivalry stuff happened 30 years ago. But maybe I could look back and see, I think they've re-aired some of that classic stuff. And I'm sure I would have commented on it on Y&R Chat. So maybe I could go back and dig around and still find commentary about some of the classic Victor Jack rivalries. I mean, obviously, the time when he stepped over Victor's dead, thinking he was dead heart attack body and kicked his hand on the way out the door. That's a classic one. I'm sure I've talked about that before. But Tony also says, how about some other rivalries in a separate episode? I suggest an episode of villains, maybe 2 male villains, female villains. How about deathbed drama and court drama? Ooh, there have been a few, and newer viewers only know the legal issues that are settled in one episode across a conference table. And by the way, I love the special episodes. I'm so glad that you are enjoying them, Tony. That makes me really happy because it's so cool to go back and dig through, and I love your ideas too. The other one, I know if Alan is going to turn out to be Martin, I think twins would be a good one, but like twins kind of could cross over with villains because a lot of our major twin twists have also turned out to be villains. So I'm like, oh, where do I put some of these, like the big storylines that you think of, like would it go here or would it go there? That's the conflict. And you know me, I'll end up overthinking and then nothing will get done. No, I must start working on a list of special episodes that I absolutely want to get done for 2025 because they're fun to listen to and they're fun to put together. But speaking of villains, Naomi says, I am cheering for Aunt Jordan when she told Ian Ward to never talk to her that way again. You go, girl. She must be crazy and evil, but somehow she's also somewhat likable at times. Yeah, I know. I like that moment too, where it's like, yeah, don't you let him push you around, Jordan. And Sharon W. says, all the scenes today between Jordan and Ian were so funny and brilliantly written. First, Jordan tells Ian to stop complaining about his staycation. And later, they both tell each other that even when they fight, they always seem to get along. Jordan adds, like an old married couple. But almost the funniest part was seeing Jordan sitting on the bed eating chips And then Ian coming out of the bathroom in the greatest disguise, including a long black trench coat, wide-brimmed black hat, and black sunglasses. Oh, and did everyone else enjoy the 2 macrame pieces hanging on the wall? Writers, more Jordan and Ian, please. I have had my eye on those macrame owls since we saw the motel room. I actually love them, and I would love to have them. I like macrame. I still think it's pretty. Of course, it gathers dust like nobody's business for your home decor, but I like macrame, and I like Jordan and Ian. Steven says, Boris and Natasha, aka Ian and Jordan, should leave town and celebrate their success from a distance. But cartoon characters never know when to declare victory. They may still pull the rabbit out of Sharon's hat. Oh my gosh, Steven, Boris and Natasha. There was a 90s movie made, a live action movie made with them. It had like Dave Thomas in it. I gotta look that up, but of course, like, wow, classic cartoonery. That's a really fun reference. I like that a lot. And I'm kind of wondering, as a poll question for this week, are you guys liking Ian and Jordan? Is it a slam dunk for these 2 villains, or are you thinking maybe they're just more on the annoying side? Are you liking the villainry and villainous chemistry between Jordan and Ian? Go to yrchat.com this week and vote for or against those 2. Diana has a really funny comment here saying, I wonder why Ian Ward and Aunt Jordan only have 1 bed at the hotel room. They are clearly not a couple or intimate from what we've been shown. They're only in cahoots with one another to continue wreaking havoc on the characters of Genoa City. Also, what does Ian wear when he goes to bed? And what does Aunt Jordan wear to bed? Do they wear pajamas? Does Ian go to bed in the raw? Does Jordan have a sexy nightie? It would be interesting to see what they do at night. Does Ian snore? Do they fight over the bathroom? They're living together at this point, and all of these points would be things they'd be dealing with. It's not easy, especially in that small little room, just saying. You know, I like the idea that maybe there's a little something going on between them. I mean, it doesn't have to be overt, but I'm kind of pretending in my mind that there is just a little bit. Like, there's maybe a little bit of an attraction there. Maybe there's some flirtation, you know, to pass the time. They're bored. I mean, they're in that room a lot. You know, I mean, some things could happen. I kind of like it that way. I kind of like thinking that maybe there is a little bit of an attraction there between them, and then it's not just entirely all business. Oh. Well, Stephen says, as a lifelong defender of the accused persons, I have a fearless prediction on exactly how Sharon's pills were initially contaminated. My pharmacy offers free delivery of prescriptions. Sharon undoubtedly took advantage of such a service. As a hired driver, Jordan would have the perfect opportunity to add something special to the package. Even the always vigilant Newman security could hardly be faulted for being numb to a regular delivery truck, inadvertently allowing the devious Jordan to cut keys and plot other methods of entry into Sharon's cottage. Chance still has a chance to seek redemption, though not in the mind of Summer. But I like a good moral for the story. Collect your own pills at the pharmacy. I mean, that's the truth, Stephen. That is the moral of the story and the theme of the week. Everybody, listen up. Be sure to collect your own pills at the pharmacy, because you never know when they could get spiked with PCP. If soaps have taught us anything, let it be that. Connie says, I definitely did not have PCP on my bingo card for a plot line. And now I am curious if we will get to see how Ian or Aunt Jordan keep finding these poisons without attracting suspicion or attention from the disguises. Adding breaking and entering or bribery to my bingo card. I laughed when I saw that. I didn't have PCP on my bingo card. Yeah, no, I did not see that coming, and neither did Russell, who says, PCP? Wow! That's some hardcore dosing. I don't know much about the drug, but I feel it was a miracle that Sharon was able to still work and function. I guess it was a challenge for her. I've heard stories that it took 20 police to bring down one person on PCP. Not sure how accurate that is, but I guess Genoa City's lucky that Sharon didn't eat someone's face off. Yeah, Genoa City is lucky that Sharon did not eat someone's face off. I don't think I can top that. Well done, Russell. Oh my goodness. T. Nicole says, I don't know if we would actually see a courtroom scene for Sharon, but couldn't Michael pull Phyllis as a witness to question her on the stand, and then she'd be obligated to tell the truth and nothing but the truth by being under oath? Oh yes, that would be certainly a way that Michael could force Phyllis to tell the truth, but would she? I don't know. Gary says, Phyllis needs her own episode to teach her what the true meaning of friendship really is. Perfect comment for the holiday season, Gary, because we all know somebody's got to have that special episode. The holidays are coming up. Who's it going to be? Will it be Phyllis learning the true meaning of friendship? That's funny. Oh, hey, how about this from Daisy? Daisy says, Sharon seemed a little smug when she confronted Phyllis about what she overheard. Sharon had been awful to her family, so it's not a stretch to believe that she would hurt Phyllis. Also, Sharon is not beyond chasing someone down and causing an accident. She chased Sage down on the road to stop her from telling Nick about Christian's true paternity, and Sage died after crashing. So there's a precedent to what Sharon would do to protect herself. And Sharon could have told Michael what she overheard, and he could have taken it from there. I don't see Sharon as innocent in all of this. Also, I can't imagine that Jordan's medication was so powerful that it made Sharon lean into deceit, lies, and misplaced blame. So even though I don't want Sharon found guilty of murder, I would like to see her face charges of the things she actually did. If found guilty, and because circumstances were beyond her control, I don't think she would go to jail. But because she did do some awful things, the court may send her to an inpatient mental health facility for evaluation. And also, maybe part of a monetary settlement, Sharon could end up giving Lucy and Daniel her coffee shop. I think that would make Phyllis smile. Certainly not a replacement for their loss, but it's something. Ooh, well, first of all, Daisy, I love that you are not letting Sharon off the hook. And in reality, yeah, don't you think she would be forced to go do some inpatient therapy or something? Because, yes, she was drugged, but boy, boy, it doesn't mean she's innocent. At the same time, you know, she still did the thing. So, I don't know, do you guys think that Sharon should do jail time? Do you think Sharon should be forced to go into a mental health facility? Maybe that'll be a good poll question for next week, so I'll keep that one in mind. How about this, Y&R Chatters? What should Sharon's punishment be, if anything? Go to yrchat.com this week and leave me some comments on that. And also, gosh, what do you think about Sharon being forced to sell the coffee house or give the coffee house to Lucy and Daniel as part of a settlement? Strangely, I kind of like that idea. Kind of like the idea of Daniel running the coffee house. That would give us more Daniel for sure. Well, new topic. T. Nicole says Summer is going to lose it when Aunt Jordan strikes, because in Summer's mind, Claire will be the one who put Harrison in danger by being in a relationship with Kyle and her past being associated to Jordan, which will lead Summer to demanding that Kyle break up with Claire for their son's safety. I can see it now. T. Nicole, I can see it now too. I didn't even think of that. But once Summer realizes that Jordan is alive and out and coming for Claire, well, that just gives her more ammunition against Claire being involved in her little family. Sharon W. says, sorry to be repetitive, but I'm really loving the family lunches between Claire, Cole, and Victoria. I'm loving the dialogue of support coming from Cole and Victoria toward Claire, and the innocence and trusting personality of Claire to realize her parents are in her corner no matter what. Also still loving Victoria's softer side with her family, and loving how Cole shows love and support for the two most important people in his life. Yeah, Victoria and Cole are also very cozy and make me feel very good. And I kind of like seeing them both taking a step back and just observing what's going on with Claire. And Victoria definitely has some worries, but Cole is always there to kind of help Victoria through that. I want to see some more romance scenes between Victoria and Cole. Can we put that on the docket for 2025? Well, Gary says, that just struck me as wrong. All that opulence for Claire? I would hope that a long line of rubies, diamonds, and gold are not real. Do not corrupt Claire Grace. A long way from forcing the poison into Nikki through a hooked-up feeding tube early in the year. But family is family. Gary not liking the shopping spree? And Naomi agreeing, saying, why do they assume Claire needs assistance? She's dressed very well. She was dressed very well as Nikki's duplicitous assistant. You know, I didn't even think of it from that angle, from an angle of like them thinking that she needed help with her wardrobe. I just thought it was like, here's a nice gift. Congratulations on your new job. You know, Nikki got some presents and some photos and things, and I guess I just got the impression that it was just a gift, you know, just a new job congratulatory opulent gift. But you know, Gary, you make a good point. Claire's not exactly opulence, but I think it's kind of fun to see. Like, I like the Little Orphan Annie type story of, you know, the rags to riches type story of like, I'm not used to these kind of things, and then all of a sudden you're brought into this world where it's like, wow, I could just have luxury clothing brought to me in the living room, and seeing the innocent person's reaction to all that, or the, you know, the rags reaction to the riches. I have just always kind of liked that storyline, and I think it serves the larger purpose of showing how much Claire has really been embraced into this wealthy family, juxtaposed with Jordan out on the outside, and how much she is going to hate that and want to bring her down. Russell says, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying Kyle and Diane being on better terms, although Billy seems like he's about to go off the deep end again. Yes. And Brent says, I'm happy Kyle and Diane are reconciling too, but I confess, I don't understand Diane's pushing so hard to make the relationship between Jack and Kyle instantly perfect. Why not let Kyle and Jack patch things up organically? The healing has already started. Stop pushing. Yeah. Diane is definitely seeming kind of desperate about it all. Maybe she doesn't really trust that it's real, and she's in a hurry to patch, forget, just in case anything new comes around the bend so that the family can be united for whatever's coming next. Gary says that was startling and an answer to one of this week's questions. There is the Chancellor Mansion, and Abby and Devon are living in it. Extremely surprising at this time to think that Y&R didn't feel they could work around not using this set. Has CBS suddenly come into some money? The town is looking especially nice for Christmas in 2024, and wonderful extended scenes with Jack and Kyle. Kyle was great, and this kind of emotional emoting is the essence of the Peter Bergman appeal. I know he loved playing them. Wipe away those tears, Jack Abbott. Your family is back in business, despite what Victor Newman says. Yes, it was really good to see the Chancellor House, and it was kind of unnecessary in a way, right? We didn't need to see the Chancellor Mansion, but Y&R gave it to us. Now, did Y&R just come into some money? Maybe, but then how do we explain the green screen park? Which I really hope is temporary. I don't like it. I don't like it mostly because I can tell it's a green screen. I mean, it's green screen, it's green screen, it's green screen. And also, I can't help comparing it to Chancellor Park. I don't know. Maybe I need to. And you know what? You know what I would rather see is that little lookout point above Crimson Lights. But of course, I realize that these things take space. But if the Chancellor Park set is too big, what about the lookout above Crimson Lights? I don't know. I like a practical set more than I like the green screen set. And I don't know. I don't mind it for the occasional roller coaster or concert to show us something that would be impossible to show us otherwise. But a park, we've got parks up the wazoo. Why not pop up the set? But if it was space issue, if it was a space issue due to bringing up the Chancellor Mansion, then okay. But Billy and Sally going for a night run could have just as easily worked up at Crimson Light's lookout point. Just saying. All right. Last week I asked you guys, do you want to see Billy pursuing a revenge plan against Victor? You're not going to believe it, but it was a 50-50 split. Wow. Do you want to see Billy pursue a revenge plan against Victor? Sue W says, oh yeah, it's the soapy way. And let Billy succeed and be all self-satisfied. And then let everyone marvel at his win, floored and recognizing the confident businessman he always knew he was. But then let it be a faux win that crumbles away when Victor rallies to reign supreme as always, finding Billy actually hoodwinked and a screw-up once again. That's just Billy's fate. And really, what would Y&R be without Victor as king? He just is. But ignoring the ew summer hookup, I do adore Billy, win or lose. I just like the guy. He's fantastically obnoxious, but an endearing character. And Tony says also, yes to the Billy revenge plan. Billy could be the CEO of the collaboration Rave. Revenge against Victor. Everybody. Rave. Revenge against Victor, everybody. His team would include Phyllis, Jack, Kyle, Jordan, why not? Ashley, hey, this could even reunite the Abbotts. Sharon, Chelsea, Mariah, Adam, Michael, Lily, Diane, Jill. Gosh, it's almost everybody. Can you imagine if just absolutely everybody in the town united against Victor Newman to finally bring him down once and for all? Naomi says, no, the writers will never let Billy or anyone else get the best of the great Victor Newman. I want Billy to do something totally different. Open a menswear fashion line under the Marchetti subdivision as Jabot. He could manage a luxury car dealership. He could even take ownership of Crimson Lights and add a bar for the patrons that need a drink but can't risk seeing Victor at the athletic club or society. It could be the anti-Victor bar. Victor rarely shows up at Crimson Lights. Just give Billy a new fun career far away from Victor. Gosh, I love I love Billy managing a luxury car dealership. Why does that seem completely right? Abbott Automotive. Ooh, come on down to Abbott Ford Subaru. Buy a luxury Mustang. In this economy. That sounds just like Billy and an idea he would have. Well, Connie says, no, don't want to see Billy pursuing the revenge plan because the feuding impacts the kids. Johnny and Katie need to see their mother, father, and grandfather being civil. I'm also bored with family business feuds. Hey, that brings up a good point. Are Johnny and Katie and Connor and all the kids on the show going to be around for the holidays this year? Well, Diana says, I would rather see Billy involved in the family business at Jabot and some juicy storyline there. Billy and Victor feud, it's old and overdone. Let's see Billy thrive at Jabot using his legitimate good business skills. Later on down the road, Billy could find the pressure of having to keep up the same successful work he's done in the past, and he could resort to cheating somehow in order to sustain his credibility of being a strong and innovative leader at the company. I kind of like the idea of Billy at Jabot, too. I kind of like the idea of getting the Jabot set back and getting the Abbotts back in there. And I kind of like the feud between Billy and Kyle maybe even being a little more foreground. Sharon W. says, I think Billy should quit concentrating on Sally and go after a relationship with Phyllis again. They were a really hot couple back in the day when Billy took Phyllis away from Jack. Billy, please just admit that you only want the occasional romp with Sally to exact revenge against Adam. And even though Sally told Billy to go after Phyllis to be sure she was all right, Billy is starting to look more concerned for Phyllis every time they are together. They both understand each other's problems with the Genoa City residents. Genoa City does not hesitate to toss either of them aside whenever they have problems that their family or friends don't have empathy for. Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with you there. I think Billy and Phyllis make a more compelling couple than Billy and Sally. Billy and Sally are fine. It's just it reeks of revenge, and it's never gonna stop reeking of revenge for me. Billy and Phyllis, it's a little bit different. They've been together before, and there's definitely some chemistry there, and I wouldn't mind seeing them fall into bed together. Phyllis needs a romance. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Audra and the Winters family. Connie says, yes, Devon, Audra did think she was hilarious as she firmly but politely put you in your place, asking a question that was none of your business. Her flippant comeback about paint samples was clever, and I thought it was funny. She also eased his mind by saying she didn't even have a drawer. The goodbye kiss with her and Nate was awkward. They couldn't seem to decide on a quick peck or something more passionate. At first, I thought this was on purpose to show Devon that they're more than casual, but it happened again when they said goodbye at the restaurant. Now I'm wondering if they were covering up a kissing blooper. Ooh. There would be no such thing as a kissing blooper if it was me and Nate in those scenes. But I did like Audra putting down her little flippantness with Devon. It was good. It was good. It shows that Audra's willing to question Devon. And right now it seems like, the Winters are trying to have their piece. I think someone like Audra needs to be in there to push a little bit. Someone on the outside who's not just going to take Devon's always wanting to get his way. He wanted a turtle touch. And he ended up with a shark. Is that foreshadowing or what? Naomi says, Audra is one of my favorite people on Y&R. She was hanging all over Nate and teasing Devon about living in the penthouse. She was so one-dimensional while climbing the corporate ladder. Now she's worried about lack of viable employment opportunities, but it's bubbly and playful. I like this development because Audra probably hasn't had a day off in years, and I hope that Nate can be her big love story. I really agree with you, Naomi. This week I am completely turned around on Audra and Nate, and it's really all because of Audra's personality change. I mean, Nate has always been warm. Nate's so warm that he's hot, in my opinion, but I don't know. I've always felt like Audra was just there in the relationship. Like she's like a gorgeous lump in the relationship, but now this week she is alive, and I think that made Nate seem more alive, and I felt like there was actually some chemistry there now, and that's exciting to me. And who knows, maybe there'll be some kind of love triangle between Audra and Nate and Damien, or who knows, maybe Damien is someone who Audra already knows. Well, let's end on Daisy's comment here from Audra, saying Audra crying might be the holidays or her thoughts of her family, but maybe Audra is pregnant with Nate's child. I think there could be so many different storylines between Audra, Nate, and his family. Also, with Tucker, if he ends up returning when he finds out. But if he did return, I'd really like to see him have more on his mind than Audra. I'd love to see a twist where Tucker secured a loophole with Glissade, where he retains part ownership of the company. What would he do? Keep his shares and try to get Jack out? Sell his shares to Jack, or perhaps give his shares to Audra, where Diane will have to answer to her? Jack would be seriously dumbfounded. Well, first of all, I love the prediction that Audra could be pregnant. I wonder. But also, more so, I love the idea of Tucker coming back. And if Tucker were to come back, he certainly has unfinished business with Ashley. Okay, well, that's it. That's my wish for 2025. The return of Tucker. Are you kidding me? Is it almost 2025 already? I hope you guys are starting to think about your predictions. I'll get that up at the first of the year and read the 2024 predictions too and see what came true. Ooh. That's always a fun little Y&R Chat facet. Oh, but Y&R Chat's always fun. It's always good. And it's always appreciated when you guys go to the website and leave comments. It's yrchat.com if you want to let me know what you're thinking about the chat or the show or anything else. It's genoacitysoap.com if you want to pick up a bonus episode to listen to if you have any downtime over the holidays. And I'm going to be back next Sunday to chat about Sharon's hypnosis session, which is what I'm most looking forward to next week. Okay, everybody, I'll see you next Sunday. You are getting sleepy.